First, though, the doctor who ran onto the pitch on Saturday to try to save a footballer's life. When Fabrice Muamba collapsed during Bolton's match with Spurs, Dr Andrew Diener, a consultant cardiologist, was in the stands. He raced to stewards to explain he was a heart specialist and he could help. And he did. In fact, Dr Diener has been credited with saving Muamba's life. Rags Martel has his story.
When Fabrice Muamba collapsed, one Spurs fan knew he had to help. Sitting in the stand, Dr Andrew Diener, a heart specialist.
As soon as I saw them start the CPR, something sort of twitched in me. I turned to my brother and said, they're doing CPR, I should go and help. And my brother said, yeah, go and help.
Within minutes, Dr Diener was on the pitch, but he had to negotiate his way past the stewards to get there.
But there were two young stewards who didn't want to know, and then an older steward who we know said, yeah, okay. I said, you know, this is what I do every day, I'm a cardiologist. And he just said, okay, and we ran down.
The doctor led the way as Muamba was stretchered off the field, the critically ill player taken to the London Chest Hospital, where Andrew Diener works.
They'd actually been listening on the radio to the match. I think they wondered whether he would arrive shortly after. They were all ready. We arrived at the hospital and then just carried on from there.
Muamba's heart stopped working for 78 minutes. Doctors say he was effectively dead during that time. But 2 days after his collapse, a breakthrough.
I whispered into his ear, what's your name? And he said, Fabrice Muamba. And I said, I understand you're a really good footballer. And he said, I try. And to have humour only 2 hours after sedation being turned off, when you'd been called for 24 hours and you'd had 80 minutes of CPR, is phenomenal. And I actually stood back and I had tears in my eyes at that point.
4 days after he suffered a cardiac arrest, Fabrice Muamba remains in intensive care. The doctors say his progress is remarkable.
I don't know if you use the term miracle, but if you're ever going to use the term miraculous, I suppose it could be used here.
Andrew Diener was one of the many who came to Muamba's rescue, but Tottenham now have a new hero, and it's not a footballer, but a doctor. Rags Martel, London Tonight.
Well, our sports reporter Sally Williams joins me now. What a remarkable story, isn't it, Sally?
Yeah.
Spurs are playing tonight, aren't they, for the first time since the trauma, so it's just back to business for the boys then?
Yeah, exactly. They're against Stoke tonight, back at White Hart Lane. Harry Redknapp did say yesterday that the players were ready to carry on, so that's exactly what they're going to do. And that match against Bolton on Saturday, where that incident happened, that's now been rescheduled for next Tuesday.
OK, and Chelsea are in action tonight as well.
That's right. It's a really big game for Chelsea